history takes place before the decisive battle against Hades in the previous Holy War. Aldebaran says revive no matter how many times they are defeated, and that it only increases the number of victims on their side. Sisyphus wonders how can they defeat the immortal specters. Aldebaran tells him that the Virgo saint is learning to master the 8th sense. Sisyphus goes to the house of Virgo, wondering if he would be the first to truly unlock the 8th sense. He approaches Asuma sitting meditating in the garden and feels as though he is in another dimension and that Asuma is predicting a future. Asmita says that he actually wanted to meet with him and that at the moment a link was born. Sisyphus says he understands and asks if he knows why he came. Asmita says, yes, obviously, I am here to seal the immortal specters, but it is proving a challenge in mastering the 8th sense. Asmita raises his hands and elevates his Cosmo. To the surprise of Sisyphus, he uses Om to increase his Cosmo. Asmita then says that part of the legendary Leo's knowledge is still alive in Sisyphus and will revive it. He strikes with Tenmu Kufuku, aka Divine Surrender. Sisyphus says it's nonsense because it will only conjure a 1000-day war, and they continue to attack. Asmita says he will lead him to the 8th sense. It would be the same as having a long discussion. He says to Sisyphus only to think of his older brother, for if the Leo awakened the 8th sense, he must have lost his mortal body and been alive. This leaves Sisyphus shocked. Suddenly, a gust of wind gets into the fight, and Asmita realizes it to be something different, produced by someone other than them. For a brief moment, he sees an image of a lion, which gives a great roar and dispels the dispute between the two. To the surprise of both, Sisyphus gets impacted by the power that was able to interrupt their fight. Some leaves fall into the palm of Asmita and dissolves into his hand, and that is his Cosmo. He tells Sisyphus that the lion suffering from lung disease had left the sanctuary. Now he is calling from the wind of his last journey on Earth. The story continues in the final part to be published next month. Champion read. First, my apologies for how I read this. This was a summary I found online by courtesy of Saint Seiya Taizin and not a real translation. Alright, well basically this story is about unlocking the 8th sense, defeating the immortal specters. Some funny things I find about Lost Canvas is they treat that Leo Saint as really something special. Even more noticeable than in episode G, whose story pretty much revolves around the Leo Saint. Lost Canvas also treats the 8th sense completely different than any of the other authors in the spin-offs. Also, does anyone else find it weird that the Virgo Saint does not have the 8th sense? You're a Virgo, resurrection is part of the whole thing. Also, what happened to the beads in the previous Holy War? Okay, that sounds like I'm complaining. Just something I always found odd about Lost Canvas. To me, Lost Canvas fits more within its own universe than any other universe within Saint Seiya. Anyways, looking forward to part 2, and please remember to like and subscribe. Later.